here on the grid for the last race of the weekend, the Lotus Cup UK. Luckily, the rain's held off, so it's pretty good conditions for our drivers. Let's see how they get on.
Well, this really is the centrepiece race of the Lotus Festival. A huge field of cars headed up by Jamie Stanley, going solo in the Exige this weekend with Steve Train sharing the front row with him. Then it's Rob Fenn and Frederick Hetherington on row 2. Adam Gore heads up the production championship runners in 14th from Andy Napier and Craig Denman. Still they keep coming. Watch for Fulvio Mussi, car 104, very quick driver. He lines up in 23rd. Also James Littlejohn, who shares with Gisela Ketveld, he will go very well in the second half of the race. Adrian Lester completes the field in his Evora. Rolling start, of course, in the Lotus Cup UK, and it is Jamie Stanley in pole position alongside him, the reigning Supersport champion, Steve Train. Then we've got the Go Green racing car, Rob Fenn, the bright yellow Exige of Frederick Hetherington, and more importantly, we've got a green light, and the race gets underway as the huge field set off towards Paddock Hill Bend, and it's Steve Train who takes an immediate advantage, or does he? Because Jamie Stanley, braking desperately late in the Exige, leads them up Hillwood Hill for the first time and into Druids further back. They're all squabbling for ground. It's Adam Gore, who is the foremost of the production runners, as the field all safely negotiate Druids, and Jamie Stanley trying to build a buffer over Steve Train. He's got Rob Fenn immediately behind him. Then it's Ken Savage, Steve Guglielmi and Adrian Hall. So it's Freddie Hetherington who's probably lost out the most in those early exchanges as they head along the Cooper Straight and on towards Surtees. Left-hander will then take them out onto the Grand Prix loop for the first time of asking. Jamie Stanley maybe being reeled in a little bit by Steve Train. Rob Fenn, though, having his work out to keep Ken Savage at bay. Then Guglielmi and Adrian Hall, Freddie Hetherington, wheel to wheel with Dave Carr through Hawthorns on towards Westfield Bend. It's Adam Gore still foremost amongst the production runners. And Westfield through Dingle on towards Sheen. Good start for Adrian Hall. The problem for Hall this year has been reliability. He's a very quick driver. This is home circuit as well, whereas monthly based at Maidstone. He's then got the yellow 211 and Ken Savage right in his sights, and Savage in turn in pursuit for Rob Fenn in the Go Green motorsport car. Out of Clark Curve and on towards the start and finish line to complete the first lap of the race. It is Jamie Stanley. Then we have got a gap where Rob Fenn should have been, and the problem for Fenn, he goes through the gravel trap, and Fenn, who's normally a driver where the qualities are assured, well, not today. He makes a mistake in these early stages, and so Jamie Stanley's got Steve Train and then Ken Savage in pursuit, and that is good news for Jamie Stanley, because I think he would fancy his chances keeping Steve Train behind him. Have a replay of BJ Chong further back in the field, trying to pick his way past Doug Setters. Doug, though, having absolutely none of it. There's Stanley from Train and Savage, and this pattern has held steady really throughout these opening exchanges, with Adrian Hall in 4th. As Stanley makes a mistake, he goes off at Druids and goes through the gravel, and I suspect that could be something that's gone wrong with the Exige Jamie Stanley. It's very rare to see Jamie making an error, and the way that car's recovered, let's have a look through Graham Hilbeny. Is a little bit tentative. Whether or not Jamie is going to be into the pits at the end of this lap, and that is wretched luck for Jamie Stanley as the smoke trailing from the Exige, and a golden opportunity for outright race victory for Jamie Stanley has disappeared. So the lead passes to Steve Train. He has got Ken Savage running behind him. Last year's top 2 drivers in the championship, 1 and 2 on their car. They're about to put a lap on to Chris Mayhew. Further back, Tom Chataway, the white 211, leading the battle from BJ Chong, and then also Dave Carr, part of that tussle. So they work down into Graham Hill Bend. It's Tom Chataway clear of BJ Chong. Jason Baker heads the next train through. Problem for Baker though, and his tyre flies off the car. It's the rear left tyre clattering into the Armco barrier. Disaster there for Jason Baker. Let's have another look at it. He's got John Lemaster in pursuit. The tyre just rips itself clear, and that pitches the car out of control. Jason Baker fortunately slows it down, such that the impact with the Armco isn't too severe, but his race very emphatically over. in the production race, though. It's still Adam Gore who leads the way, but he has now got Fulvio Mussi right onto terms with him. Mussi, as we thought he might, joining the battle for the lead in the production championship, as Rob Fenn looks to recover up through the field. Simon Deacon, his next target. He's put a lap on Christopher Mayhew, whose engine lets go in spectacular fashion. Mayhew putting off the circuit at the first available opportunity, and the essential fluids of the engine pouring forth as Fulvio Mussi now looks to challenge Adam Gore for the lead of the production race. He draws alongside, he's got the inside line for Paddock Hill Bend, and Mussi goes through, takes the position. Lovely move that from Fulvio Mussi. And what has Adam Gore got by way of reply? There's still the remnants of Jason Baker's tyre on the road there. I just wonder whether or not that and the combination of Chris Mayhew's car may bring a temporary halt to proceedings. Indeed, it does just that. So the recovery work gets underway to bring Jason Baker's car to a place of safety. Recovery will also be completed on Chris Mayhew's car. Then, hopefully, the race will get back underway. Meantime, opportunity to see just how close it's been getting between Mussi and Adam Gore. Gore challenging around the outside into Hawthorne. On that occasion, it was successful. The lights out on the safety car, the race getting underway. And it's Steve Train then with Ken Savage. In pursuit about Savage, he must have missed a gear there because he suddenly drops a long way back from Steve Train, and problems there for Ken Savage. Very strange to see that, because the car just seemed to falter underneath him. It now has picked up speed. He's got Steve Guglielmi tucked in right behind him as the pit stops are underway. It's Chris Setters who takes over from Doug Setters. Adrian Lester is in, as are a number of the other runners as well. Benji and Freddie Hetherington swap over. It's Benji who rejoins the action. Adrian Lester back underway in the Evora. So into the pits is Adrian Hall, but that would appear to be slightly longer pit stop than scheduled, the way that the rear engine cowling is being refastened. So Adrian Hall rejoins the action, albeit a little bit further down than he would have liked. Kimi Räikkönen about to allegedly rejoin the fray. So Adam Knight has renamed himself for the purposes of today's race. He joins the action. Pit stop also completed for Marcus Jewell, as Andy Napier looking to make the move on Nigel Ayres out on track. Ayres, though, trying to cover his line through Hawthorne. Napier, though, has got the inside line, Westfield Bend, as Ken Savage moves to the fore of the field. Steve Guglielmi trying to squeeze through past Chris Setters and makes contact, and it's Steve Porter who gets fired off the road as Setters and Guglielmi lock themselves together. Porter clatters into the Armco, Guglielmi rejoins, and that has brought out another safety car. Let's have another look at it. Guglielmi looking to put the lap on Chris Setters. The gap that was there suddenly closes as Steve Porter moves across the road. Porter cannoned into the Armco barrier. Setters and Guglielmi intertwined, and really it was just one of those things that can sometimes happen. All the gaps closed up, as have those leading the race, because now Ken Savage leads the way. He has got Simon Deacon and Rob Fenn immediately behind him, and they are now going to have something of a sprint to the flag. We've not got too many minutes remaining here at Brands Hatch, and Simon Deacon is something of a master of coming good in the late stages of the race. So Ken Savage to win with the 211, and he's not going to do it again. The car just suddenly slows through Druids. It was the same thing that happened on the first safety car restart. It just faltered when he was looking for the gear change, and it means Simon Deacon pounces, takes the lead of the race. Such frustration for Savage as further back through the order. Dramas for Adrian Lester, who takes a trip through the gravel trap. Druids just snatched the rear brakes on the Evora, pitched him off. Let's have another look at this pass for the lead. They come up Hailwood Hill. Savage does everything right, takes the defensive line into Druids, and the car just suddenly slows. There it is. Doesn't get the power coming down as he wants it to, and that is enough for Simon Deacon to dive through and take the lead of the race. But now Savage has really worked for that, because he's got Rob Fenn and Steve Train right on his tail as well. And Savage goes wide at Sheen, and that's going to be the opportunity for Rob Fenn. So Rob Fenn snatches second position, and that one was driver induced. Savage slips to third. Now will he be able to hold off Steve Train as Paul McNeely continues to make good progress Savage on to terms with Rob Fenn as Simon Deacon sprints along the Bradham Straight. Across the line, Fist pumps in delight, he takes the win. It's Rob Fenn in second and Savage completes the podium. Have a look then at the results in the Super Sport classes with the win for Simon Deacon, Rob Fenn second, Ken Savage in third, and Steve Train in fourth, from the Hetheringtons in fifth, and Adam Knight in sixth position. In the classes then, the 211s, it was Simon Deacon from Ken Savage and Steve Train. Amongst the open runners, Rob Fenn from benching Freddie Hetherington and then Paul McNeely and BJ Chong. The Exige Cup, Matt Bartlett and James Knight from Guillaume Gomez and Nicholas Frere, then Phil Capstick and Ben Brooks, and the V6 Cup, Adam Knight from Adrian Lester. Production honours went the way of Craig Demon from Stuart Plotneck and Dan Plant. Adam Gore eventually slipping down into fourth position, the safety car really having quite a bearing on the overall results.
Rob, you had a few ups and downs in that race, but a great result at the end. How did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting stuff. Ken nudged me into the gravel at the start, so it was a bit of a shock and a couple of laps to get going again. But yeah, just sort of started building my way back through the grid. Then we had the safety cars, which obviously helped enormously, and then there was the melee in the pits, and after that, like I said, it was a blur really. Suddenly I was in third place, and it was tempting to get involved with Ken and Simon there, but I was in front of the class, so I just stuck there in the end and enjoyed the view.
Simon, that was a brilliant result. How did you find the race?
It was a tough race. I started 10th, I didn't qualify too well, so I had a lot of work to do. So it was hard work.
And you're back with us next time, Donington?
Definitely be back at Donington. This should help my championship. And this race was really for Anthony, who we lost, part of the Datum team, only a couple of weeks ago. So this was for him, his family, and Tom, his workmate. So this was Datum Motorsport.
Leaving Brands Hatch, what does all of today's drama do to the championship within the Super Sport Championship? Simon Deacon leads the way, 14 points clear of Jamie Stanley, who'll be ruining the problems he has earlier in the race, and Stanley only 3 points clear of Rob Fenn, just a points advantage over Phil Capstick and Tom Chataway. In the Production Championships, Andy Napier, who heads the standings from Stuart Plotneck, just 3 points between the pair of them, with Andrew Wright still very much in contention as well, although Adam Gore slipping back.
That's it from us here at Brands Hatch. Join us next time for more Lotus racing.